10 foods to lower your blood sugar naturally. So here are our 10 foods to lower blood sugar naturally. Number 1, spices. Yes, spices. You have them all in your cabinets, no doubt. You see them in the grocery aisles. So there are many different spices like cinnamon, turmeric. And so we'll just talk about a couple today. Cinnamon. Cinnamon is a spice that's actually made out of tree bark, which is actually no shock when you look at the cinnamon. It kind of looks like a tree, right? The trick with cinnamon is that there have been many studies, but sometimes it's hard to compare because different doses have been used. And some studies found that there was no clinical significance in the decreasing of blood sugar with cinnamon, but there are many studies that have shown that there actually is a clinically significant difference. So you want to be sure you consult with your physician. One study, for example, compared people who took in 1 gram of cinnamon a day to 3 grams of cinnamon a day to 6 grams of cinnamon. They compared those groups to those who had placebo and used no cinnamon at all. And in that particular study, they found that there was a significant lowering of the blood sugar. There was another study that was done. It had 69 patients in China, all who were type 2 diabetics, and they compared those who used cinnamon daily versus those who didn't. And in that particular study, they found that the patients who used cinnamon had not only lower blood sugar, they also had lower triglycerides as well. And so the thing with cinnamon, you want to make sure that you don't use too much. You don't want to use over 6 grams a day if you are going to use a cinnamon supplement, because that can lead to certain problems. And also remember that if you're using a supplement, it won't necessarily be FDA approved. So in conclusion, some of the data is inconclusive, and there was a meta-analysis that was done with cinnamon where they compared 10 different studies. They did find that, again, some studies showed a significant lowering, some did not. But the real key is that it may help, won't hurt, but make sure you consult with your physician, because cinnamon is possibly a way that you can lower your blood sugar naturally. Another spice is turmeric. Now, turmeric is a very well-known spice, and if you have ever had curry, turmeric has something called curcumin, which is responsible for that coloring and that kind of flavor of the curry. The turmeric is a well-known antioxidant and a spice with anti-inflammatory properties, and many studies have shown that turmeric can lower blood sugar, as well as lowering cholesterol, as well as helping with chronic inflammation. So that's one. Spices can help to lower blood sugar naturally in many cases. 2, garlic. Now, garlic is actually one of my favorites because garlic has many medicinal properties, including lowering blood sugar naturally. Now, garlic has compounds that not only is it loaded with vitamins and antioxidants, and some studies suggest that it can help to lower blood pressure naturally. They can lower triglycerides, lower blood sugars naturally. Studies also suggest that the garlic can help to decrease blood sugar. Overall, garlic is just something that's really, really a healthy substance. Now, there was one study that was done, a review in 2015, and it did show that there was a clinical significance in the decreasing of fasting blood sugar with patients who used garlic versus those who didn't. And there was another study that was done in 2018. In this study, patients crushed raw garlic twice daily, and they were compared to those who did not use the garlic. They were compared with the placebo, and again, they were found to have a significant difference in blood sugar. Those who used garlic had lower blood sugars, as well as a smaller waist circumference. They lost more waist circumference. They had lower triglycerides as well. Some studies have been done as well that have been a little bit less conclusive. And so, again, it's important to consult with your physician, but understand that garlic is a food that may help to lower your blood sugar naturally. 3, non-starchy vegetables. Certainly non-starchy vegetables are a way to lower blood sugar naturally. Now, we're dealing with starches. We're dealing with a lot of carbohydrates, and a carbohydrate is defined as a string of glucose units in the form of polysaccharides. And when you take in a lot of carbohydrates, like the starchy carbohydrates, and I'm talking about bread and rice and potatoes, then that can cause your body to absorb the carbohydrates quickly and to cause spikes in blood sugar, which of course is not good for managing diabetes. And so with your vegetables, you want to make sure you have many non-starchy vegetables, such as asparagus. I really like asparagus. It has a special flavor to it. And the asparagus is loaded with folates, with potent antioxidants. It's low in calories. And so it's something that you can really cook in different ways, and you can fill your stomach up without having all of the excess calories, which means it can also be good for maintaining a healthy weight. And of course, maintaining a healthy weight is another way to lower your blood sugar naturally. Another non-starchy vegetable would be broccoli. And we know that broccoli is good for so many things. So of course, it can help to lower blood sugar naturally, again, by being a way to fill up, to bulk, to help you to lose weight. And broccoli also is loaded with all kinds of vitamins and antioxidants, and it can even enhance your immune system naturally. Be sure to watch my video on how to boost your immune system naturally after you finish watching this video. And there are all kinds of other ones also. Artichokes, that's another non-starchy vegetable. Artichokes are interesting. They're really an interesting looking vegetable, aren't they? Now, in order to get to the actual artichoke portion that you can eat, you have to get rid of all of this beautiful, delicate looking, these pieces on the outside to really get to the center, the heart of it, the artichoke hearts. And so if you're someone who's moving around busy, don't have time to do that, you can find artichoke hearts where all the work has been done and all of this excess, these leaves have been pulled off. But you want to be careful and make sure that if you find an artichoke heart like that and say it's soaking in a preservative, make sure that it's just water. Or if it is an oil, perhaps something like an olive oil. You don't want to be in an oil that's going to increase your cholesterol or something that's really inflammatory. So be careful with that. So preferably a pre-prepped artichoke heart that's already peeled. You want it in just water or olive oil perhaps, if you're not going to do it yourself. But yes, that's another way to have a non-starchy vegetable to lower your blood sugar. And of course, cabbage. And when you cook your cabbage, all kinds of ways, but you want to make sure that when you are cooking these vegetables, if you're not going to eat them raw, that you cook them as little as possible, so that you maintain the maximum nutrients. So yes, asparagus, broccoli, artichokes, avocados as well. That's another great one. It's one of my favorite, and it's a non-starchy vegetable. It is high in fiber, it's low in salt, it's high in potassium, and this is another food to incorporate in your diet in order to lower your blood sugar naturally. 4, pumpkin. Pumpkin is a glorious orange winter squash, and yes, it can help to lower blood sugar naturally. Pumpkin is low in calories, it's high in fiber, and it has a low glycemic load, which is actually different than the glycemic index. Glycemic load refers to the amount of sugars absorbed from carbs into the bloodstream. And when a glycemic load is less than 10, that's considered to be favorable. Well, the glycemic load for pumpkin is less than 3. And this is different again from glycemic index. They actually have a pretty high glycemic index. So when you're dealing with pumpkin, it's important to understand all of the health benefits. One is fiber. They have 3 grams of dietary fiber per 1 cup of pumpkins. But it's also important to understand that you do have to have some type of portion control because, as I mentioned, even though they do have that low glycemic load, they have a high glycemic index. And so if you start dealing with high portions of pumpkin, then you could get into trouble with your sugar. Now, there's something I want to mention with pumpkins, and that's that they have a high vitamin A. Vitamin A can really help with eye health. It helps to decrease macular degeneration, age-related macular degeneration. It can also help with reducing cataracts. It can help to reduce night blindness. I mentioned these because a lot of these eye issues are common in patients with diabetes. And so having pumpkin at a proper portion is something that can be helpful. Pumpkins also have high vitamin C, which helps to decrease inflammation in blood vessels. We know that many diabetics have inflammation in their blood vessels, which can lead to high cholesterol, which can also exacerbate the need for amputations after having poor circulation. And so you want to have vegetables that are high in vitamin C. Pumpkin is that vegetable. Now, when I say pumpkin, all things pumpkin are not healthy. I'm talking about fresh pumpkin. If you're dealing with pumpkin pie, for example, you already know that's loaded with sugar. Or if you're dealing with pumpkin puree, that may have high sugar as well. If you're looking at canned pumpkins or pumpkin seeds that are pre-prepared, they might have high salt. So you want to deal with fresh pumpkin, or you want to make sure you pay careful attention to the sugar content or to the salt content. And no, I'm not talking about the pumpkin lattes that are loaded down with sugar as well. But pumpkin is just one of those things. It's another way to lower blood sugar naturally. 5, fish and shellfish. So salmon, tuna, mackerel, shrimp. If you're dealing with seafood, this is a way to help to lower blood sugar naturally. These foods tend to be low in calories, of course, which can help you to maintain a healthy body weight, which is good for controlling diabetes or preventing high blood sugars. They also have lots of omega-3s when you're dealing with fish. They tend to have omega-3s, and fatty fish like salmon will have high vitamin D, high potassium, and they have a great antioxidant property. Some studies show that dealing with these proper types of fish can help not only to lower blood sugar naturally, but can also help to lower triglycerides. They can help with inflammation. And so fish, another excellent choice if you are a diabetic or someone who's living with prediabetes.